Yeah, one of my boys recently, in the same conversation, he was talking about how he wants to have a baby. And
Yeah.
then like 10 minutes later, he's like, dude, I think I want to get into doing whippets. Because he,
Oh,
because
that's
he has,
always it.
he has to pass a drug test for like a government job. He's like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about starting doing whippets.
Dude, whip it.
I'm like, dude, you just said you wanted to have a baby like 10 minutes ago, bro. What are
Yeah.
we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I was doing like he's singing lullabies to the baby, but he's like, bro, come on, baby. He's all like
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
whipping down. Yeah, so one or the other, dude. You can't have a baby and start doing whippets. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, you can't hold a baby and be on whippets at the same time. You're gonna drop something.
Yeah, they really emphasize that in health class though, that whippets was going to be a bigger problem. Like, I didn't even know you could get high off a computer duster until health class. They're like, they show
Yeah.
some video of some kid who died. I'm like, what? I can get
Yeah.
high off of that shit?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah,
Wait a
dude, you
second.
huff it. I'm like, what? Yeah, I had no clue.
You're
Yeah,
telling me
I
there's a
never.
prize at the end of the whipped cream can that I knew
They're like, you
nothing
know that
about?
stuff we have over there in the computer lab? Yeah, you can get high off of that. I'm like,
Don't even
why are you
think
saying
about
this
it.
to us? Yeah, why are you telling us this?
Yeah. Yeah, there was so much I had no idea about, like going into like health class, and I was like, "Well, no way, I can smoke that and I can huff in that, dude. That's
Dude, I
insane.
remember
I can make
elementary
a bong
school.
out of an apple."
Dude, yeah, a bong. I mean, that's actually I haven't done that in a while. That's a great
Yeah,
time.
and they were like, "Don't
But
whatever you do, if someone offers you a Gatorade bong, don't accept it." I was like, "Oh shit, I can make a bong out of a Gatorade bong. That's
yeah,
such a
yeah,
good
exactly.
idea. Thank you."
That's like the one episode of Cops where the guy finds like all the materials of someone making meth like in a water bottle.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're like, what did you find? And he's like, well, I got a water bottle here, and then here's the Sudafed, and then here's a 9 volt, and then he's like,
yeah,
now here's some other stuff, and he's like, if you mix it all together in this water bottle,
yeah,
then
yeah.
that's how they turn it into meth. I'm like, what?
Oh,
Dude, you doing a class right now, bro?
yeah,
Like, what? What are we
yeah,
doing here?
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh, bro, we should not be broadcasting this
I
to the
should have
masses, dude.
recorded that episode. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
watching cops reruns all the time.
Also, one time, because your gym teacher like would teach health class. I don't know if that's state or nationwide or what's going on with that.
Oh
But
yeah,
elementary school, my gym teacher in her office had like a picture frame like this, and it was full of pills, and it had the little label underneath of every pill and like what it was. And I remember asking her, and she was like, "Oh, that was an old lesson that we used to teach." And this is elementary school, dude. And
yeah,
the one it was like Xanax, Percocet, like Suboxone, like fucking, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
K-pins, like
yeah,
what
yeah,
whatever. And then I think back, I'm like, why the fuck would they be teaching elementary schoolers about that? You know, like this
yeah.
is
Exactly.
crazy.
I
And where
I
did you
know the
get that
reasoning.
fucking
The reasoning's
like
definitely like if you see your parents like in the medicine cabinet because you're like 10, don't take that. But all it's teaching me is that, oh, if I take
yeah.
one of these in my parents' medicine cabinet, this is the fun one.
Yeah, this is why mommy gets sleepy after 9 o'clock after
Yeah, yeah,
dinner.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What glass of wine and a Xanax? And I was really tired after that. It's
Also
insane.
though, where can I get that picture frame, dude? If somebody's selling that picture frame, dude, send it my way. I
Yeah,
might want to take a couple licks off the top of a couple of those pills, see if they're real
yeah,
or not.
yeah, yeah. I bet we could find that photo. That'd be great to hang up.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, that's crazy. But
Dude,
yeah,
I
I
remember
do
for
remember my health class teacher saying uh, he was explaining to us cocaine because like he was teaching us about all the drugs,
yeah,
and he was getting like super in detail. He's like, it's one of those drugs where it's like a lot of fun while you're on it, but the high only lasts for a little bit, like
yeah,
an hour or two, and then you got to go back and you got to do a little bit more, and then the next day you're super depressed. And I remember being like, I remember asking him like, "Why? How do you know this much
yeah,
about?"
yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "Chill, chill, chill." He was like, "Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up."
Shut up, shut up. Yeah,
He
next
was
thing
like,
you know,
"Yeah, if you do this one, you'll lose your wife, and your son won't
your
talk to you anymore."
son.
I'm like, "What, dude?"
Yeah, and you're sucking dick behind the Laugh Factory in Philadelphia just so you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I
rough,
was like, "What,
okay?
dude? How's this guy know so much about cocaine?"
Gonna have to change your name and get a teaching job at a public school with a bunch of kids with no hope. So don't do
Yeah, yeah,
coke.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna fucking if you do this one, you're gonna hit your guy up every Friday night, and then you're gonna sit at home alone in your boxers, and you're gonna watch Sports Center on loop
Yeah,
while you
yeah,
do cocaine, and
yeah.
then you're gonna wrestle a 357 Magnum barrel out of your mouth before you go to bed. I'm like,
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
dude?
yeah,
This is super specific.
yeah.
He's like, you're gonna go down to the massage. That one right at the cross of Fifth Street and Main Street. You're gonna go right down to that massage parlor. You're gonna ask for Jen Wang. And
Yeah,
Jen Wang, she's gonna wash you, and then she's gonna jerk you off. I'm like, what, dude?
yeah.
This is
And
crazy.
you're gonna fall in love, and you're gonna ask if she wants to go home with you because you can take her away from all this place, and she's not gonna
Yeah,
come home, kids. And then you're gonna sit on your sofa, you're gonna watch 1,000 Ways to Die, and you're just gonna think how lucky those people are.
yeah. But yeah, I remember he knew a lot. But then he asked the class like if anybody had ever smoked weed, and they
Yeah.
all snitched on me, dude. The entire class was like, "That kid smokes weed." Like everybody was pointing at me. I was like, "Yo," I was like, "Yo, chill,
Yeah, what is
chill with
it?
that, dude.
Yeah.
Chill with that."
Yeah, even the smart girl, so she's not lying. He's like, oh, I think he smoked. And like, I'll kill you. Like, I
Yeah,
hope you
yeah.
don't get into Yale.
I had that happen one time in class, first period, because I would always smoke hella weed before school. Not bragging, dude. Kids, don't do it.
No
Don't be
big
smoking
deal.
weed.
Yeah.
But I was just, dude, I would get so baked before school. I would be like head down for the first two periods. Like I was that kid in class. Like my
Yeah,
head's
yeah.
not coming off the desk for the first two periods. And first period, this chick was like she was like tapping me or something. I wasn't answering her. And then like I looked up and my eyes were probably bloodshot or whatever. And that's super loud. She was like, "Are you high right now?"
Oh my
And then like
gosh.
the teacher was like doing his lesson, and then like she said it so loud, like he stopped and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
looked,
He
and
stopped
like the
writing on the
whole
whiteboard.
class, yeah, the whole class looked. And the only way, like a good defense is the best offense. So I just had to like I had to snap. I had to flip out, dude. Like I
Yeah.
had to stand up and be like, "Why would you accuse me of that? I would
Yeah.
never do that." I had to go into offense immediately. There was no that was
I
the only
hate this
way.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "This is bullcrap.
Yeah.
You're profiling me for my long hair." I had long hair back in the time
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went on this whole yeah, but yeah, she totally ratted me out.
My eyes are red. I'm crying. My parents are going through a divorce. Thanks for bringing it up, Tina.
Yeah, yeah, this was pre-divorce, but I probably would have just thrown that in there.
Yeah,
I'd have been
yeah.
like, "My mom's a whore, I swear," and just
You can come
crying,
up with
tears in my
anything.
eyes.
I had to
Yeah.
pick my mom up from her pimp last night, and you're out here saying I'm high. I'll never do a drug in my
Yeah,
life. It's torn my
this is
family
an
apart.
outrage.
Yeah.
My grandpa died in Vietnam for this shit.
This
God
shit.
damn it.
They found so much opium on him, okay? You think I'd
Yeah,
ever do that?
yeah.
Dude, health class, did you ever do like the sex ed stuff for them?
Oh yeah, we had sex ed. I've seen the hairy pussy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Chewbacca.
I've
Oh,
seen the
yeah.
hairy pussy. And I
Dude,
probably told you about the kid when they learned about penises and vaginas in sixth, seventh
uh,
grade. Kid next to
in
me,
seventh grade, we
he,
started learning about it.
kid next to me in class. So honestly, right after we learned about women have vaginas, like he looks at me like this, like face of relief. He was like, "So girls don't have penises."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
straight face, like
yeah.
straight face,
You're like, oh, thank God.
like like oh my, like he was like oh, like
Yeah,
the relief on this kid, it just
yeah,
washed
yeah.
over
He was,
him.
oh my God.
His whole life he thought girls had penises, dude.
Yeah. There's this
I
one
mean, how do you
kid.
make it that long in life?
You never think about it, man. Or he's prepubescent. That's probably why, dude. His balls hadn't dropped yet. He was thinking about eating boogers in the back. He's not thinking about where babies come from or what happens once a month.
This is true. This is true.
But I so it was like seventh grade when it ended up happening. So there was this girl in my music class that like I was always flirting on, and she was like really flirty back to me. Anyway, it was like the whole school year, and then back and forth, and it was like classic seventh grade. If she's like, "I like you," and I was like, "I like you," and so in music class, she's like, "Should we be boyfriend and girlfriend?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And then later that day, the it was the same day that we learned about penises and vaginas. And I remember sitting
Nice.
there in class being like, holy shit, this is what's happening with them. And I think it scared me so bad that later that day when I met up with her at her locker, I broke up with her like right then and there. I was like, I don't think this is a good idea because whatever the hell's happening downstairs, I'm not ready for it. I can't look that thing in the eye. and I don't want to anytime soon. So I legit broke up with that girl because of health class.
That's outrageous. And you met in music class?
Yeah, yeah, we met in. Her name was Bridget.
Oh,
And
her name was Bridget. I was gonna say maybe you were scared. You thought she had a sideways vagina.
I could,
You thought
yeah,
that,
I was, but no, she
that
wasn't.
I legit thought that Asian ladies had a
That is,
sideways
I know
vaginas.
every kid in my
I
college,
mean, I swear
yeah.
until about eighth grade when I googled it finally.
And then you
I'll get
narrow
it.
it down. You're like, okay, so I don't think Japanese people do it, but maybe it's
Yeah,
Koreans.
yeah.
I don't know
Maybe
a
it's a
lot about
different.
Koreans, so it could be them. Yeah,
Let me Google Taiwanese
yeah.
pornography. I'm like, oh no, that's not
Oh
what I
no,
want.
they have dicks. What? Just flip the
I
script on me
lied
right
to him.
there.
I lied.
I thought I had it figured out. They do have penises. Yeah, and that's my health teacher right there in this video. It's insane. He said he went to China. He went to Thailand because he liked the culture.
Yeah, me and Josh painted for this guy. It was like, yeah, I do a lot of traveling. And we were like, oh, yeah, where'd you go? And he was like, I've been to
Yeah,
Thailand 7 times. We
yeah,
were like,
yeah.
okay, all
Yeah.
right,
Ooh.
buddy.
Yeah. Oh
Okay,
shit.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Look
cool.
at the time. Yeah.
We're just not gonna talk the rest of the time. We're gonna be pretty quiet during
Yeah.
the paint job. We like to put our
Actually, I have
headphones on.
no more travel questions, actually, after
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
wanna. I don't
Yeah.
wanna know
You
how the
seen the
food is,
Phillies
dude.
recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He breaks out into that whole speech from the White Lotus.
Yeah. Which is wild because he was married and he had kids and stuff. It's like, oh,
And
no.
so his wife definitely didn't know. She had no
No,
idea.
she had no clue.
Yeah.
She had no clue. Also, one time I painted for this lady. I might have told you this. I'm sorry if I'm repeating. But
No,
I
you're
painted for
good.
this lady, old lady. It was an old lady and her husband. I painted in their house. And she was like, look at this picture of my husband. And it was like a printout that she got. She was like, they sent it to me on their trip to Las Vegas.
Uh,
And dude, they were in like winter jackets. It was the worst Photoshop I've ever seen, bro. Like you could
wait.
clearly tell that it was a Photoshop, and they
Yeah.
were standing at the Hoover Dam, like with both of them in full
Yeah, yeah.
winter jackets, yeah. And I was like, dude, she had put it on the fridge at that. I must have walked past that fridge 9 million times just to get a picture or just to get a peek at that picture.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
so funny. I was like, I don't know what they're getting up to, but there's no chance that they went to the goddamn Hoover Dam. I'm telling you that right now.
He's never seen the Uber Dam before in his life.
She had no clue, bro. I was like, nice, yeah, look at that.